Union Bank of India. Good people to bank with.
Like we were discussing, the buzzword these days, of course, is sustainable growth, balance between, economic progress, environmental concerns, and for people, those who have been working at the forefront, have been building companies and industries. I just wanted to understand from you, Mr. Uday Prakash, how difficult or easy it is right now to create a sustainable model for growth for industries, because more and more people are, moving towards green and technologies, green environment. If you could just tell us, especially for Herbalife, how do you look at the future as far as the sustainability and the balance is concerned between growth and sustainable development?
Okay, so let me tell you companies in general first. We come to Herbalife then, right? I mean, what I realize is among the corporates, there is an increasing realization that sustainability has to be at the core of what they do. It is no longer a compliance responsibility, right, or no longer a compliance obligation. And similarly at Herbalife, it's very central to us. Okay, when we look at how to use the natural resources or our social responsibility, it is very much embedded a part of our business. Okay. And the way I see economy evolving, okay, it is evolving from linear economy to a circular economy. Okay, most of what we do currently is take, make, and waste. Taking natural resources, making it, and then dumping it. Okay, this economy needs to change to a circular economy where we maximize the resources and minimize the finite resources. Right, that will be the key to our success. Particularly at Herbalife, when you look at there are 3 mantras that we are working at. One, nourishing people of India, nourishing healthy communities over here, right? And nourishing the planet. When I talk to you, nourishing people of India, we have a Nutrition for Zero Hunger program. And in this program, we are making positive impacts to eradicate hunger. We are making huge impact in the area of nutrition education and accessible nutrition. When I talk about nutrition for healthy planet or nourishing healthy planet, right, that's our responsible sourcing. Many of our ingredients, we can trace it back to the farm level. Yeah. Okay. When I talk about sustainable packaging, we are working with the regulators on how we can make our packaging more greener. Right. When I talk about reducing emissions in our supply chain, we are looking at vehicles, the fleet of vehicles, how we use the green vehicles in our supply chain. Okay. Similarly, when I look at nourishing healthy communities, right, the direct selling business model, okay, is about empowering at various strata of society. Okay. And how do we economically empower them, and how do we make available to them the best entrepreneurship opportunity that is available. Okay. And that's how we see how India is evolving and shaping at 100.
Right. Dr. Singh, what lessons can other industries also learn from leaders like you with changing, evolving business strategies? What lessons would you want to, in fact, tell other entrepreneurs, those who are looking at this session or looking at for some advice?
We are looking at currently the things which India is driving on. India is currently among the top 3 nations in energy and use, what we are looking at. And we are looking at in next 20 years, it should grow more and flourish more, as it is one of the robust developing nations. We are understanding the modernization part, the structural part, the part where India can play a good role on. The strategy is very simple. Start by exporting primary products, buy technology from developed countries, skill your labor, produce cheaper goods, and help cheaper domestics, and help the other manufacturers too to come forward in the genre, and you can, mince many more things in the business houses so that the sustainability and the growth of the nation is dependent on that. And for that, I think so, the Make in India concept was done by Mr. Modi ji, and many things were promoted, and people have gained more of use from the Make in India project, and there was a lot of things which helped young entrepreneurs to come forward and deliver their utmost best. And there are many examples which are set in India, and looking at those entrepreneurs, looking at the efforts done by them, I think so it's commendable. India is, I'm looking at a very par level that we are the best people in the world when it comes to ideas, when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to some new concepts, some new imaginations, some new things, as well as we should think that the coming fact which India is promoting right now is the greenhouses, the solar projects, there are many more things which the Indian government is promoting.
Absolutely.
So I think so we should be more focused on that and give the youth more opportunity to come forward, to step forward, and there should be ease of doing these concepts in various different ways. We need some mentors who can guide us.
Yeah. Mr. Kapoor, specifically speaking about the setback that industries have seen, in the last year and a half, COVID setback, lockdowns, and so on and so forth. How difficult has it been to jump back from there and then to adapt to new technologies, new way of working, and then move forward? Because for a sustainable Atmanirbhar Bharat, now it would be the most important factor would be how quickly we are able to adapt with the changing environment around us, the way we do the business.
So the very important question here, there are two aspects that have actually happened in the last 18 to 24 months. One is, of course, we saw the pandemic and the kind of impact that pandemic can have. And the second thing was the environmental challenge that we are actually facing. So both these challenges that have happened together, and we are actually seeing that how it can actually impact our lives, it becomes imperative for corporations or even the governments for that matter to understand that if you really want to be successful in the future, you will have to bring in the aspect of quality of life of people, maintaining the quality of life of people. And what you're calling as sustainability, I'm saying is quality of life, or ease of living of people. And how do you really bring about that ease of living within the paraphernalia of the enterprises as well? If you really look at it as an enterprise is always solving a solution, but the question is going to be that how do you solve it sustainably? How do you actually create an ecosystem wherein you're not exploiting the resources, rather giving it back to the system? Because this is the whole idea of competitiveness per se. Like, in fact, when you talk about sustainability, that means that we are simply not producing products effectively. That means that productivity is an issue. So how do we set that productivity perspective right? How do we say that we are going to improve the quality of life of people? This leads to a second point, and that is for the governments. And what the government is doing here is something very phenomenal, at least within the Indian context. And Vivek Debroy and I wrote a piece for the Harvard Business Review on this, when we are saying that, it is not about GDP what matters. It's not GDP per capita, but it is actually about quality of life or ease of living that matters. And that is what needs to be looked at. And if we don't really bring these perspectives, so this actually leads us to think like it's about social progress and economic progress. And these two things, or the pandemic has actually exposed it. In fact, the pandemic has also said something very interesting to us, or told something very interesting to us, that the time for humanity could be numbered if we don't really solve the things. In fact, from my point of view, if you really ask me, like we are at a cusp of time when we are in danger of extinction. We are right now in the middle of the sixth mass extinction.
So I'll start it in the reverse order now, but I just wanted to just a corresponding question to that. So is environmental concerns, sustainability, are they an impediment for a developing nation like ours? Because we've seen both largely don't go hand to hand. Conflicts between environmentalists and people, those who are talking about higher GDP rate of growth and everything, and controversies around that. India is seen a country which is difficult to do businesses in that sense. Too many environmental laws and all. So are they at cross with each other, or is there a way to find a common ground?
No, I think the moment you start thinking that they're at loggerheads with each other, we are simply looking at the wrong perspective. We are looking through the wrong lens. They are not at loggerheads at all. You can actually do it. And if you really look at it, like if you look at the Indian ethos, Sarvjan Hitai, Sarvajan Sukhai. What does that actually mean? Like, it is all about equality for all, development for all, and incorporating everybody together. So that's where it is actually coming from. So if you really look at it, it's not at loggerheads. It can be brought in together. This is where corporations will have to start thinking. The models of the past, what we are really hinting at, or what you're hinting at, is the capitalistic models of the past were actually very exploitative. It is not a railroad revolution that is happening, or it is not the oil revolution that is happening again. It is actually about finding the sweet spot now. If you really look at the journey that developing countries are taking, it's phenomenal. When you talk about clean energy, and look at the kind of perspective that India actually has on that. So there are very positive things that are actually happening. What I'm really saying here is that what we are really hinting at is a new model of capitalism. We are not talking about the cliche, the model of capitalism that we were talking about in the past. We will have to redefine ourselves, and it is possible, very much possible. If I have to serve a customer, what does it really mean to serve a customer well? If you don't have to create waste, you can actually have recyclability in the processes, and you can have very, very robust value chains, which actually takes care of everybody across the board, from communities to the dumping of things that can actually happen, and so on and so forth. And there are enterprises who are actually following that model. It is just that we have to learn from those models. Incidentally, one last point which I would like to share here is that when you talk about new age enterprises, they are far more sustainable than the enterprises that were actually there about 20 years, 30 years back.
Presented by Herbal Life Nutrition. Powered by Darwin Platform Group of Companies. Never stop moving forward. Driven by Maruti Suzuki. State partner, Government of Karnataka. Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
Successful people have all the money. I tell them how to spend it. I'm in a good space. I'm in a Sears.
सुनील बाबू, क्या हुआ? परेशान लग रहे?
बाइक ने नाक में दम कर रखा है।
इधर आई। समय पे ऑयल चेंज नहीं किया तो बाइक का निकलेगा ना दम, और ना दिखेगा फिर 5 कदम।
5 कदम? ये क्या है?
बताता हूँ। पहले हम सक्शन से निकालेंगे इसका पुराना ऑयल। मैट 40 इंजन ऑयल डलवाओ और जानो पहला फायदा, इंजन हमेशा स्वच्छ रहेगा। दूसरा, इंजन की लाइफ बढ़ेगी। तीसरा, बाइक मक्खन जैसी स्मूथ चलेगी। चौथा, बेटर माइलेज। और पांचवा, परफॉर्मेंस बेहतरीन होगा। 3 महीने बाद अपनी बाइक का ऑयल चेक करने के लिए यहाँ या किसी भी मैक क्विक कियोस्क पर जाना मत भूलना।
You know, I'm not comfortable with this solo trip of yours. Have fun.
Hi.
Ashma, don't forget to have the parathas and the ginger lemon tea.
Stay connected to your car like you're connected to your loved ones. Maruti Suzuki's People Technology presents Suzuki Connect with vehicle tracking and many other features.
एलपीजी का इस्तेमाल करते समय रखें सुरक्षा का ख्याल। गैस चूल्हे को ऐसे चबूतरे पर रखें जो सिलेंडर से कम 6 इंच ऊपर हो। गैस चूल्हे को खिड़की के सामने न रखें क्योंकि हवा के झोंके से चूल्हे बुझ सकते हैं। आपका ख्याल, परिवार खुशहाल।
जीते हैं हम on a coaster ride, रुकना नहीं, ऐसे चलनी है लाइफ, दिल का धड़कना सुन That's how we live 24/7 of our lives.
Drive your style with the all-new Celerio.
चलो यहाँ पर सही
पूजा मैं मार्केट से आता हूँ।
मिस्टर, कार की चाबी?
नहीं मैं पैदल ही जाऊंगा।
पापा, नॉट डैड।
हाँ यार, अपनी दिल्ली सरकार बोलती है कि पॉल्यूशन कम करने के लिए हफ्ते में एक बार अपनी गाड़ी से एक ट्रिप कम करें और उसकी बजाय पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट या कारपूल का इस्तेमाल करें। इट्स अ स्मॉल रिक्वेस्ट, मेक सेंस? नो?
यस, और ये बात मैं आपसे कब से कह रही थी, लेकिन मैं हेल्थ के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बोल रही थी।
यू नो व्हाट, मैं भी यही सोच रहा हूँ कि जब दिल्ली सरकार और घर की सरकार एक ही बात बोल रही है तो सुन ही लेना चाहिए। चलो यू गाइस कैरी ऑन, मैं चलता हूँ। बाय
बाय पापा।
एक हफ्ते में आप जितनी बार गाड़ी निकालते हैं, अब से बस एक बार कम निकालें। बस एक ट्रिप कम। आप मिलकर अपने हिस्से का पोल्यूशन कम करें। हफ्ते में गाड़ी का बस एक ट्रिप कम करें।
With over 8,000 passionate employees working hard in difficult terrain, pushing boundaries, transforming India's energy landscape. We stand ready with innovative prowess to write another history, fueling the nation and contributing to India's energy security. We are Oil India Limited.
ये नया प्लान कुछ समझ में नहीं है।
प्लान ये है कि जो खर्चा किया है वो लेके जा रहा हूँ। बैंक ने नोटिस भेज दिया है। ये जगह और इसका कर्जा आपको मुबारक।
यार तू प्लीज इस फैमिली को ना छोड़ दे।
और अगली बार मुझे हाथ लगाया ना तो फैमिली बनाने लायक छोड़ दे।
तुम्हें जब बच्चा नहीं चाहिए था तो वो जस्टिफाइड है। मुझे बच्चा नहीं चाहिए तो मैं कमीना बन गया यार।
अब नहीं है, दैट्स द पॉइंट।
इंडिपेंडेंट बनने के चक्कर में ये भूल गया कि और भी लोग हैं जो डिपेंडेंट हैं।
इशू से भागने का नाम मिल्खा सिंह है।
पुजारी खानदान के मर्दों का ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड अब भी बरकरार है।
Dr. Singh, for a young entrepreneur like you, what are the challenges that you see going ahead, and ways to overcome them? To what degree are these shifts taking place in terms of trying to balance the growth with environment and of course industry?
So as you rightly mentioned, we need to balance the growth. So being a human being, we require two things. What is the most? One is the other things in a healthy way. So we require the environment clean as well, and we want to work in such environment that it doesn't hurt us. We can make some positive atmosphere at the environment. So there are three things which we can do. Prepare a strategy plan for that. Expand your whole clientele list, and data analytics can be one of the key role which you can come and intervene, and things can be taken care of. Maximize the value of your particular company so that more people try to enroll in you, have good communications with you. So you have to create a certain environment within your organization that people should feel comfortable, they should be appreciated, they should be taken care of. It should be more of a familiar feeling than that.
More of a people-centric approach.
More of a people-centric.
Than a profit-centric approach that we are talking about.
So that's what we are looking at. And when we go towards this kind of session, then the people who are working for you, they don't feel like that I'm working for them. They feel that we are working as a whole. So every chunk which I'm burning right now I'm burning for myself. So I'm burning for the people who I'm working for. So that particular message should be there in each individual so that the growth part, the sustainability part, the part where the industries can grow should maintain both its decorum in that.
Mr. Prakash, especially for your company and the industry largely that you represent, direct selling has been seen as something which could possibly be a big game changer when it comes to sustainable growth, especially for India. How much of that model, because you are actually in that model, what are the learnings from that model? And if there are, investors listening to you, would you encourage them? What would you tell them when it comes to the health and nutrition business?
Okay, so first is the direct selling way of model, right? I think, upskilling people, okay, that is going to be a paradigm shift in the way this entire industry is going to work, okay? And that has been our pillar of strength, okay? We invest a lot in training and education of not only our employees, we also invest a lot in training and education of our associates. They understand about right kind of nutrition, okay? They understand how to do business. They understand about financial inclusiveness, right? And we care for success of our associates. And that will be the key because our associates, what we believe is we don't sell products, we sell results, okay? And that's our key differentiator. Okay. Regarding investors you spoke about, okay, more than welcome. I guess people have seen our success. Our success is premised on communities we serve, right? And that is key to our business.
Is it easy to replicate your model?
Sorry?
Is it easy to replicate? I mean, if somebody it will require a lot, like you said, you are just not selling a product, you're selling a lot of research.
So our founder and first distributor started our company 4 decades back, okay? And in India, we are there for 22 years, and we are celebrating our 22nd anniversary. So it has taken so much time for us to reach tier 3, tier 4 villages, rural parts of India, right? And changing lives over there. So yes, of course, it's an enormous amount of effort. There is no easy way of doing anything, yeah?
In fact, I was reading about something that you recently said. Recently, you've said that India has laid a policy emphasis on innovation as a growth strategy over the last decade. How do we stand when we look forward to benefit from that?
So, benefit from innovation?
Yes.
So, innovation is going to be the key. In fact, when you're talking about sustainability itself is innovation itself. And there are 2 or 3 levels at which we can really talk about innovation. Like one is going to be the business models, the processes, and whatever. But I think the biggest thing is going to be about how business models can actually get innovated for the future. If you are able to innovate, if you are able to deliver services, or if you are able to deliver solutions. In fact, I'll just take a step forward that everything that we are giving to the consumers is effectively a solution for something. So if you are able to do that in unique ways, you are able to create value. If you really look at it, one enterprise which I always love to talk about is Jio. How they've really created value in terms of like the model. I think the biggest thing that Reliance is that they actually look at the market in terms of like how can we serve 1 billion people. And then when you're serving 1 billion people, then how can we actually give it at the right price or the appropriate price. So the 3 things that they're actually doing, or most of the big companies or unique models would do, is that how do we redefine value for the consumer? How do we really look at the value chain over and over again? The 3rd thing is going to be how do we resolve or create solutions for the communities at hand? That is one part of the story. The second thing is going to be the ecosystem for research that needs to get created at the governmental level. Today, if you really look at it, India is today sitting at a cusp of a very interesting revolution in terms of, say, because of the what we call as the demographic dividend. Of course, there are challenges that exist, but at the end of the day, we are in a situation wherein we can actually become the innovation hub. In fact, the 2 COVID vaccines are actually a reflection of the innovation or innovative capacity for the country that we actually have. Of course, on per capita basis, we are far lower than many of the countries. That's something that we have to achieve, and we can actually take the move forward. But the question now is going to be that how do the corporations and the government come together to really create that innovation ecosystem which is able to resolve. In fact, one of the things which is a reflection, as of today morning, 31 unicorns have actually happened in India in the last 11 months. So if you really look at that figure itself, that itself is what I call a cognizance to the fact that India is actually arriving in terms of business model innovation. You might have actually talked about Byju's about a few years back and said, oh, what a useless, stupid, dumb idea. But look at what it has actually done. It's a transformational activity.
In the end, just very quickly, Mr. Prakash, has India been able to, let's say, spring back or jump back from the depths that we, or the problems that we faced during the pre-COVID times and then during the entire lockdown and so on and so forth? Has this vaccination drive right now, we talk about 100 crores, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Has that given us an edge over our competitors, especially China and other countries?
Okay, I mean, I would like to limit to India per se. When you look at the recovery that has happened in India, it has been a V-shaped recovery. Okay, we have bounced back stronger than what we were previously. Okay, we are witnessing in India a growth which was unseen, unheard of. Okay, and that's where we stand. Okay. There is a new level of optimism. Okay, people are more confident than what they were. Okay, I interact with many of our associates, and when I talk to them, okay, they feel more confident today. And with the change that we are able to bring in their lives, they are extremely happy with the way we are today. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your insights. You wanted to make a point, Dr. Singh?
Yeah, for this point, I would like to add few points to.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The thing is like, let's now see a fact which has come to one's notice is like India has witnessed its first technical recession in last year. So there was a time when India saw negative quarter reports. I think so twice a time. But again, looking at India, we are proud because today where I'm standing on this stage, the IMF has announced that in the coming years, on Tuesday, they have announced that India would be heading towards 9.5% of GDP growth, which would be adding up more value.
Right.
So there were many businesses which were shut down. There were many things which were, only the essential parts were working. But along with that, India growing, I think so, India has handled it very well under the leadership of Mr. Modi ji and with the technical guidance of the governance cell also. So I think so we are looking at a very nice start as the new years are coming and new policies have been made for new entrepreneurships.
So the restart is encouraging, challenge galore, but we are looking at a bright and optimistic future, if I may end it on that note. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your insights. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a wonderful audience.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
My friends think I must retire. I've worked too much. I'm 35. I'm in a good space. I'm in a CAS.
खुल के जीने का बदल रहा है अंदाज मैक्स बूपा के नए अवतार के साथ नीवा बूपा हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस।
मैं कर रहा हूँ जिंदगी को क्लेम और आप
जिंदगी को क्लेम कर ले।
Hello ma'am, we are from Maruti Suzuki Roadside Assistance.
Ashma, your car has low fuel, okay?
Yeah, Dad. The team is here.
Stay connected to your car like you're connected to your loved ones. Maruti Suzuki's People Technology presents Suzuki Connect with low fuel alert and many other features.
AU बैंक के सेविंग्स अकाउंट में इंटरेस्ट मिलता है हर महीने,
मतलब साल में 12 बार.
AU बैंक, बदलाव हमसे है.
जीते हैं हम on a coaster ride, रुकना नहीं, ऐसे चलती है लाइफ. दिल का धड़कना सुन लो, होने को जो भी अब हो. That's how we live 24/7 of our lives.
Drive your style with the all-new Celerio.
दिल्ली सरकार के स्कूलों के 3 लाख बच्चे, उनके 51,000 बिजनेस आइडियाज और सरकार की ओर से 60 करोड़ रुपए का सीड कैपिटल. ये है दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा स्टार्टअप प्रोग्राम बिजनेस ब्लास्टर्स.
बिजनेस ब्लास्टर्स प्रोग्राम के हर एपिसोड में हम मिलेंगे ऐसी ही 3 टीमों से जो इन्वेस्टर्स के सामने अपने बिजनेस आइडिया को करेंगी पिच, ताकि उन्हें अपने बिजनेस के लिए मिल सके इन्वेस्टमेंट. अब कल के बड़े बड़े बिजनेसमैन एंड विमेन निकलेंगे दिल्ली सरकार के स्कूलों से. बिजनेस ब्लास्टर्स 28 नवंबर से हर रविवार शाम 7 बजे प्रमुख टीवी चैनल्स पर.
News, according to me, is the right of each and every individual. Their right to know. Their right to be informed about what's happening around them and how is it going to impact their lives, and a right to ensure that their other rights are not denied. News is something which someone somewhere doesn't want to get reported. No electricity, no water. This is the mighty Talab village of Ramgarh area in Jaisalmer. Team Mirror now is on the ground to bring you more stories, apathy of state and center government. Mirror now is about people. We have always made ourselves clear that we are for people. The entire base of the foot-over bridge, it just came down, it collapsed. Sena is ruling BMC since decades now. How will Sena answer to this?
Why you ask for political issue here?
I'm not asking for a political issue, sir. 2 people have died. It's not political for us. Mirror now is for truth, for justice, for equality, for democracy. And Sandhya Goda reporting for Mirror Now, you first.
Policies affecting people's life, issues concerning a common man is news to me. Behind me are the people who have brought drums and the Indian flags to celebrate the return of Wing Commander Abhinandan. Seeking accountability for those who are in power remains a bigger challenge.
Important part of the budget was of the job seekers. What is that Odisha needs right now?
Sir, just one question on the situation in Perth, sir. He is the deputy CM who loves to watch Super 30 but does not give an answer when asked on floods in Bihar. The impact that a story has on people's lives is what keeps me going.
Cyclone Bonnie will be known only after it passes.
The stories that we bring to you are less about rhetoric and more about facts and voices from ground. This is Ayushman Kumar reporting for Mirror Now. You first.
You are on top of the world with Times Network. And you're watching Mirror Now.
As heavy rains lash Tamil Nadu, waterlogging woes continue to haunt residents of Chennai. Power supply disrupted in few areas. As ministers face graft charge by contractors, Karnataka Chief Minister Bommai forced to set up probe panel. Chief Minister writes to Chief Secretary, says tenders above ₹50 crore to be examined by the panel. Two-fold rise in daily vaccination count in Maharashtra in the second half of November. Daily average of shots administered surges from 4 lakh to 8 lakh doses per day. Amid concerns over new COVID variant, Prime Minister holds key COVID preparation review meet. Top government officials from Health Department and Niti Aayog attend the meeting. BCCI officials to have an internal meeting by tomorrow over ongoing situation of the new COVID variant in South Africa. Sources say BCCI is concerned and in close touch with all competent bosses in South African ports.
RBI rejects proposal to consider large corporates or industrial houses for banking license. It has, however, allowed promoters of banks to hold up to 26% in their banks. Hello and welcome. You're watching The News with me, Charlene Lobo. We have lots lined up for you in this bulletin, starting with some breaking news. An accident has been reported on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway where a tempo rammed into pilgrims. 2 women have died in the accident. 27 people are injured in the accident. That's what